Character is the type of person we are.
I'd say character is
how you come across.
I describe character as the
virtues that make up your personality.
It comes from you.
It's the way that you act.
what people see you as.
Character is the ability to understand people on an emotional and intellectual level and understand their viewpoints.
So what is character? I think it's best to start with personality. Each of us has got a distinct personality profile, but some of that profile is genetic and difficult to change, for example, whether we are introvert or extrovert. However, within personality, there is a subset of traits that we call character. So character refers to that part of personality which can be evaluated from a moral point of view and which is amenable to reasoning, to upbringing, to coaching. This is why we talk about character education rather than personality education. Virtues are the qualities that help us to respond well to the challenges that we meet within life. Each virtue is made up of various different components. So, for example, we need to notice the right things, we need to feel the right emotions, we need to be motivated to do the right things, and in the end, obviously, we need to do the right things. And the virtues are not just skills. I mean, the skills are based on our personal values. The virtues are different. Their value is universal. They are valuable in and by themselves because they help human beings to flourish. Character is an important impact factor on how well we do in life. It's important to note that character is not inborn. It's shaped and formed originally through our relationship with our primary caregivers, and then when we go to school, through our associations with our peers and our teachers. People often ask, so should character be taught or just caught? For me, that's a false dichotomy. It should ideally both be taught and caught. If schools all around the world focus on the character development of students, then the missing piece, the missing element in education can't be provided.
Well, it's not really easy to force a person to change their character, like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's kind of like you get taught the virtues.
It can actually be influenced, I think, character a lot in schools. It's where you spend most of your time as a child.
I think it can be taught, but not in the conventional sense of someone stands in front of you talking. It's something that I think that needs to be learnt through experience.
When I'm asked, can you teach character? Of course, it would be incredibly difficult to teach young people to be honest or, say, resilient by sitting them in a classroom for 40 minutes. But certainly there are things that you can do within a school that will help young people to develop those sorts of virtues through the whole process of education. It's actually very difficult to get to grips with the term character until you actually start to talk about what I would call the building blocks of character, which is the virtues. And when you start to talk about these virtues, you can start to talk about the types of character qualities that we think schools should prioritise. And we can break these virtues down into different sorts of types. So absolutely crucial type of virtues is the moral virtues. These are virtues such as honesty and compassion, and integrity and humility and gratitude, the virtues that really enable you to do the right thing at the right time. And then there's another type called performance virtues. These are the types of virtues that might be things such as resilience and teamwork and leadership and communication. We can talk about civic virtues such as service and volunteering and good citizenship. And then a final type would be intellectual virtues, things such as curiosity and communication. And it's actually all of these types of virtues that come together to form someone's character. Perhaps the most important virtue is actually the virtue of phronesis, which could be perhaps called a meta-virtue, which ties all the other virtues together. It allows you to do the right thing at the right time in the right place in the right amount when, say, two or more different virtues collide. Because what's important is encouraging young people to think about the different scenarios or dilemmas or experiences that they actually face day in, day out. And they call for good judgment, for wisdom to be shown when displaying the different virtues. A lot of who we are, who we become, is shaped by our experience at school, by the people we meet, the opportunities that we get involved with, the experiences we have. The transformative possibilities of going to a school that really puts a strong focus on character and character education can be immensely powerful and, I would argue, life-changing for many young people.
I think my best virtues are self-discipline and courage.
Like if you tell quite a lot of lies, you can change that to add the character virtue honesty.
It's no good just teaching them about character on a PowerPoint or just talking to them about it. I think of character, it's more of a hands-on thing. You have to actually be a good person. You need to feel how it feels to actually do good things. And I think you can only really teach the true essence of character if you show good character.
We all go into education to make a difference to the lives of the students that we come into contact with. The vision and the ethos about developing the character of the children and our aspiration to transform the lives of the pupils, I'm sure that's the same for all schools around the country. I think what we have been able to do from the start is to say that the character development of the students is the most important thing, and we truly believe that if we get that right with committed, dedicated, highly qualified teachers, then the outputs of the school, whether they be measured in terms of accounting measures of exams, but for us more importantly, what the students are going to turn out like, what impact they're going to have in the community, actually that's the most important thing for us.
What's that one? Resilience, excellent.
We've been able to design the school day and the school week so we can have explicit and implicit teaching of character. I hope that I'm seeing that our teachers can relax. It's not about measuring them all the time. It's about them forming relationships, developing their own skills that they can share with the children.
See all of this lovely texture, but
at my old school, she didn't really see the teachers outside a lesson, whereas now we can go and see the teachers at any point in the day and they'll be there to help us.
We start every Monday with reflection, which gives all the children a chance to really think about how they've used virtues over the weekend, to have a bit of time to themselves just for some mindfulness and to really think about how they're going to approach the week ahead. And we also finish every day with a 10-minute look at how they've used their virtues positively, where they notice virtues that their friends in their class have used. They think about how perhaps they could have developed virtues and used them more wisely and made wiser choices.
We've got our teamwork virtues that Pete was talking about, real self-discipline to learn your guitar and practice it.
At the end of the day, we have 10 minutes of reflecting, and I don't think that many schools do that. And like, if you have done a negative thing in class, then you can talk to the teacher about why you did it and what you could do to stop it.
And you're not happy when I say that I've got a reason for that?
This morning we had like this Smartie thing where the teacher gave random people lots of Smarties while some people only got one or none. So I think that taught us about empathy, of how we would be if we were in other people's shoes.
So think today, am I treating everyone fairly?
As soon as they go into their tutor groups, which they go to for, we're really lucky, 30 minutes every morning, they will have a focus on a character virtue. So for example, the sixth form started year 12 with a unit on procrastination, so they could help develop the virtues they needed to be good at studying. Year 7 started with the vocabulary of character education. So they had a language to talk about virtues, because whilst some of these words are very familiar from how they've been taught at primary school, so they talk about being kind and having kind hands and being kind to their friends, they might not be so clear about what it means to have self-discipline or show empathy. So we run a whole tutorial programme where they look at the virtues, but then we contextualise them so they're relevant. They will look at how they could use virtues to make the right choices, for example. We have a unit on future-mindedness, so from the start of Year 7 they're really focusing on who they want to be, what sort of person they want to be, and how their character virtues can help them develop into that person. And I suppose one of the really exciting things that the students I think probably enjoy most is the enrichment programme, where for an hour on a Monday and an hour on a Friday they have pretty much free choice of about 25 different activities, most of which are new to them, where they can put their virtues into practice. We have cooking, sugarcraft, computer coding, so a whole range of different activities that most students have never ever tried before, and they get a chance to just experience something new, and they have to do it for a fixed amount of time, so it teaches them how to be resilient but also try new things.
We're looking at the University of Birmingham School in developing the whole person, and so any of those virtues at some point in their journey through school will become a focus for us and for them. And in the full range of the activities that we have in school, whether it's in lessons or enrichment or in our personal learning development programme, we will hopefully over 7 years have a coherent path through the virtues, allowing the children to reflect on what they're doing, to develop their understanding of the virtues. And importantly, I think, again in the message that we often talk about, is allow the children to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes.
If you get told off, you've done something that's against the virtues, they just tell us, you can go do some reflection, think about what you've done. And I think I'd rather have a reflection than get told off, because then if I get told off, I don't really understand what I've done wrong. But then if you're doing your reflection, you think about what you've done and why you've done it, why you could improve, and how you could be better.
What's really important to remember is that when you become a teacher, you want to change lives. And actually by thinking about character and how you can put character into the lessons that you already have, into tutor times that you already have, using assemblies slightly differently, finding time to reflect with students, giving them space to grow and space to learn, I think with that commitment, anyone can teach character.
By teaching character in school, it's really important because it's lifelong education.
When we're praised, we're not praised on, oh, you got 85%, you're praised on being resilient and how much hard work you did, and I feel like that's encouraging better habits later on.
The grades, they tell you how clever you are and how well you're doing, I suppose, and definitely help with like jobs and careers, but your character is who you are individually. It makes you different to everyone else.
I think character and character education is fundamental to young people in schools flourishing, but also for society much more widely to really function.
They are honestly the happiest children I've ever seen in any school I've worked in. They still make mistakes because they are children, but I think they're beginning to realise that if they really reflect on their mistakes and internalise what's gone wrong and have a space and a chance to do that through reflective conversations, they can change their course of life and their journeys. They're beginning to use the language of virtues in a way that I thought would take a lot longer. Students want to be good people and they want to do well, and now they've got a vocabulary they can use to talk about their virtues and how they're feeling, but they've also got a way through that is becoming really, really meaningful to them.
It's got to be about preparing them for the world beyond the school, and so that we hope that when our students leave us, that they will be well prepared to go out into the world to be happy, fulfilled, engaged citizens who are good people. And if we achieve that, then I'll be very, very happy.
it's really nice how we integrate character into everything. And I'll always remember the quote we got on the first day of school when they said to us that the reason why we implement character into everything that we will do is because at the end, when you have literally nothing left, I mean, money can go, assets can go, but the only thing you'll actually have left at the end of all of that is character. And that really hit me hard, and it sort of puts into perspective everything that we do.